Some of those that work forces are the same that burn crosses. That's from a Rage Against the Machine song that I listen to when I work out. Been listening to that album a lot, along with American Idiot. I have the fucking album. There's a part of me tempted to play the damn thing on the speakers. I don't know where I'm going to go with this video. I'm angry. I'm doing my best to bottle the rage I feel at what I've been seeing. What I knew would happen 10 years ago if this prick was put into power. People thought I was overreacting. People thought I was being over the top when I compared Trump's demonization of Muslims to that of what the Nazis did to the Jews in 2015 and 2016. People thought I was crazy. You know, people thought I was crazy when I compared him to Mussolini. Now it's fucking mainstream, is what I'm trying to get at here. People saw the kids in cages under Trump. People saw how he fucking handled the pandemic. Basically jack shit. He did a failed fucking coup, and motherfuckers voted him in. Dumbasses thought shit was gonna get cheaper if Trump was put back into office, completely forgetting the fact that Obama handed Trump a good economy. Now you might wonder, well, Darth Bribewood, you're angry about Alex Pretti getting shot and killed. Another fucking American citizen gunned down by these Gestapo motherfuckers. Another American. And this guy was actually a great human being. He was an ICU nurse in the VA. His last action, unlike some motherfucker that the right loves to, put on a pedestal, whose last words and actions were demonizing marginalized people. I'll let you fill in the blank on who the fuck I'm talking about here. That man's last words, Alex Pretti's last act on earth, was making sure another human being was okay. All he was doing was filming these motherfuckers. Oh, he was too close. His hands were up. Okay, they take him to the ground. And they kill him. They kill him. They take his gun. It's a big thing. They confiscate his weapon that he had. He was in an open carry state. Open carry state. Had a fucking permit for the gun. He wasn't brandishing it. He wasn't flashing it around. And they still kill him. Straight up execution style. I didn't need to see the fucking video. I just read descriptions of it. And it was triggering enough. It was disgusting enough. It was angry enough. If you're justifying what happened to Rene Good and Alex Pretti and just justifying ISIS Gestapo shit in general, fuck you. And I don't need to say anything else. I have no interest in entertaining your positions on some intellectual level. Because all you're arguing for is fascism. All you are arguing in favor of is authoritarianism. All you are arguing in favor of is a fascist militarized force killing us, taking away our freedoms even more than what we already were dealing with shit in terms of mass surveillance. I long for the days of when the Snowden leaks and the Patriot Act were the things I could point to as us going down a path of authoritarianism. We're not on a path anymore. We are here. We are at that point. And the person fucking doing it is the fucking asshole I've been warning about for a decade. I have books by scholars of fascism. People who have unfortunately fled this damn country because they were worried about academic persecution. Because their universities and institutions were kowtowing to this shit. Kowtowing to destroying history. Kowtowing to revisionism. Kowtowing to this false, idealized version of a great white past. Celebrating Confederate scum that were traitors. I do have a cold, so I apologize for that. If you've seen some jump cuts, that's why. And I want to bring up something else here. Even if Alex Pretti wasn't a great human being, who gave a damn about his fellow man, who took care of our fucking veterans, whose last act wasn't a morally righteous one, it still wouldn't have fucking mattered. Because the United States is supposed to be a land of laws. The United States is supposed to be a land of due process, not a bunch of schmucks killing us. Well, just comply, the right is now telling me. Just show your paper, the right is now telling me. Just comply, obey, listen to the fascist fuck saying, show me your papers. How about you shove it up your fucking ass? I'm a goddamn American, and we don't do that shit. I'm a proud leftist American, and I understand to some extent those two words, being a leftist and an American, paradoxical in a lot of ways, an oxymoron to some extent, but goddamn it, that is how I feel. I value the ideals of this damn country, and I value the ideals of Marxism and socialism and social democracy. I value the revolutionary spirit that we were founded on. This country was founded by fighting tyranny. Now it's knocking on our front fucking doors. No warrant, no sense of judicial process, no sense of these motherfuckers going through the proper channels. Just barge in to people's homes. That ain't living in a free country. And the fucked up part is, there's a lot of marginalized people in this damn country who have known that for years. I remember having a conversation with one of my best friends, someone I consider family. Don't have known my entire life. They said to me, without any shadow of a doubt, that we are already in a fascist country. To some extent, I agreed, but I was still hopeful. I was still believing in my fellow citizen. When I saw screenshots of that video, and I saw what the state was telling me versus what my eyes were seeing, I've always been a man who questions authority, unless that authority is for the sake of the public health of the nation and the world. When it comes to science, I'm gonna trust those motherfuckers. Unless they start diving into some eugenics shit, which these motherfuckers are doing. You know, in Philadelphia, in the Federal Building, they took down the murals of slavery, going into the history of, you know, how George Washington took slaves to Philadelphia. And under Trump's new bullshit act, which is just, let's whitewash history. Let's just pretend that our great men and women weren't very flawed people, or didn't do things that were kind of fucked up, with the context of, yes, these were products of their time, but this was wrong. We recognize the past as the big picture. There was great good, but there was also great evil. And it is our duty for the future generations to recognize those horrors so that we can correct them, try to make amends. It's always been baby steps. But now those fucking baby steps are just getting crushed by a white supremacist president. You can bitch and moan about me saying that about Trump all you want, but a man who justifies the racist assholes who were going blood and soil, you will not replace us, a decade ago, you shouldn't be surprised that that same man is doing what he is doing, authorizing what he's authorizing, cheering on, calling us who dare oppose this regime, who try to protect our communities, protect our neighbors, who try to tell the secret police, you cannot enter my home. We just see the forest through the trees. We understand what we are living under is tyranny. Actual fucking tyranny. Not hyperbolic, you know, right-wing fantasyland tyranny. Actual tyranny. When the actual tyrants are coming down and killing people. Suddenly the NRA is silent. Suddenly these organizations that were screaming about it from the fucking rooftops. If you are a libertarian, then you should have been calling this shit out as long as I was. You know, I remember reading a passage in Robert Paxton's The Anatomy of Fascism, along the lines of this. It was the conservatives that aligned with the Nazis because they thought they could control them. They thought they could control this evil organization because they were politically aligned with them. Well, look how well that turned out. The thing is, well, I thought and had a feeling years and years ago that it could get this bad. And while I'm not surprised, that doesn't change the fact that I am horrified and angry. And this might be a crazy or silly thing to pull up what I'm about to pull up here, but I don't give a shit. I really don't. If you watch this fucking movie, okay? Fucking movie right here, okay? And you support Trump, you missed the fucking point. You missed the point of what George Lucas was screaming into your fucking ear. Fascists and authoritarians seek power from a crisis, or they will manufacture a crisis to justify their reign of terror, to justify turning a republic into a dictatorship. So this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause. The fascists will virtue signal that they love democracy, that they love the democratic process. Another author in his book, How Fascism Works, Jason Stanley, he said something along the lines of, fascists will virtue signal about being defenders and protectors of democracy, loving the democratic process. Why do you think Trump at the time was saying, I want an open primary process, I want to go through the primary process? Look at me, even though I did a fucking attempted coup in 2021, I am suddenly the man who loves the democratic process. And people bought into it. People believed it. And it is only now where two people who weren't doing anything bad, who just were unafraid of the tyrants, who challenged the tyrants, not physically, but just spoke calmly, maybe helped their fellow citizen. In the case of Rene Good, she was just a woman, unafraid of the vile, misogynistic ICE thug. And in Alex Pretti's case, it was helping somebody who was maced, following the Hippocratic oath of doctors and nurses, helping people. I'm angry, but I'm not surprised. I've read enough history and have a decent amount of books to not be surprised by what I've seen. I have a good enough education to not be surprised by what I see. But lack of surprise does not repress anger. It does not repress disgust. It does not repress a righteous hatred of injustice. Keep protesting. Keep showing these people that you are unafraid of their tyranny. Keep pushing back non-violently. There are people who can help educate you on the best methods of non-violence. Study the civil rights movement. Study their methodology. Study the methods of Dr. King. You know, even though I have my issues with Cornel West, I think what I'm going to do is try to maybe do readings from the Radical King, because I think that's what people might need to hear. Rest in power, Rene Good. Rest in power, Alex Pretti. And there's a third person who was killed before both of these people were. It's only because the two people who I've talked about have gotten the most media coverage, but I don't want this name to be forgotten in this video. Rest in power, Keith Porter. Killed by ICE on New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2025. Rest in power to all three of them. These people will face justice. Fascists inevitably do. It might take a while, but abolish ICE and prosecute all of them. ICE was a mistake, as were many of the policies and actions passed by the Bush administration after 9/11. But as I said, those three people, may they rest in power. And may you all be reminded, and I will reiterate what I have said before, fascists have been here before, they fucking lost, and they will lose again. Keep fighting peacefully. It's the only way. With that in mind, live long and prosper, and thank you for watching this video.